Good afternoon, and welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to our Sky Factory 3 modded Minecraft Let's Play series. And also welcome back to the second part of our storage overhaul. I haven't even started, but we've just been chickening it out. Chickening and mystical crops. So anyways, of course, where we left off, we finished plugging up all the chickens. We've got the eggs running. I logged off for a little while I edited the video and stuff, and then when I came back online, we had like 30 something legendary loot packs built up. Oh, we got another one here. Let's take a look. Oh, we got an end portal, octatic capacitor, and draconium dust. Good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that in there. We can actually assemble our own end portal if we get enough pieces, but I do believe that's only our first one, so they're not terribly common. Also over here, I did finish building quantum chests, and I actually ran out of quantum chests when I started working over here, and I'm out of obsidian right now, so my hands are kind of tied as far as that goes, but we're going to get all that stuff plugged up this episode. I did get all the that large field that I showed you last episode, and the inferium essence, all of that stuff's moved over here, minus the fertilized essence, glowstone essence, and coal essence. So all the rest of the stuff is plugged up, and all of the chicken items are currently plugged up. And actually, you know what I could do? I mean, technically gold isn't in a quantum storage unit yet, but I've got to get all that sorted. I mean, right now we don't have, diamonds and stuff like that going out to compression. Right now I just want to get everything stored, and then we'll sort it out later on once we have all of that taken care of. So let's go ahead. I'm going to throw in, say, glowstone essence. Basically, I just have the quantum chest set up. And by the way, I'm not even on these. I'm not even worrying about setting priority. I mean, filters. Originally, I was, if you recall, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, they can only accept one item, and we have astronomical amounts of some of these things. If you take a look, I mean, just about everything has 50,000 of it, This episode, we're going to be working on the second part, auto-crafting the hose and sorting out the essences. So, it's honestly going to be fairly easy, I feel like. So first up, let's go ahead and focus on getting the essences taken care of. And the way we're going to do that is really simple, just utilizing a couple ender chests. So, oh, well, funny story. There we go. And by the way, I don't have I've got all of this stuff plugged into the system. I don't have the essences plugged up just yet. I've got to get more things made. And actually, while we're working on this, let's go ahead and throw in like another stack of iron. I have 32 of the gold processors made up, so it's not really an issue. But anyways, for the essences, let's go ahead and go with like cactus green, I think. We'll get 6 of that. And what we're going to do for right now is we're just going to plug up our ender chest. And by the way, this stuff, I am going to end up shifting it down, because if you notice, it's right up on the edge of the ship here right now. So that will get moved over just a little bit. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do storage on this side, and we'll do the main system. We'll shift it over there once we're ready to move it, Basically, once we have power, like a change of power and everything, we'll just shift it. And this room is just going to be massive storage, like quantum chests all over. And yeah, there's going to be like a one wide walkway in between it. This is going to be another line of quantum chests for the rest of the chicken drops. And then you're going to be able to walk through here, and then there's going to be quantum chest and quantum chest for essences and stuff. And maybe some other mass crafting type things. So anyways, let's go ahead. We'll plug this up. We'll say green is your color. And we'll go ahead and say extract is always active. And actually, I just realized we're going to want another ender chest. I almost forgot. There's actually a fair few people on right now. Stalker actually got on, which is cool. You guys may remember him from TSG. Really cool guy. So let's go ahead. First up, I want to do something about this. First things first, I think. Well, actually, you know what? We can go ahead and plug this up. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it come up, and we're going to have an ender chest plugged in right here. And we're going to say that you can insert that's about. Green channel. And I just realized I've totally forgot that we're on a server, so we should probably diamond lock our stuff so it's not going to interfere with anybody's stuff. Let me go grab a few diamonds real quick. So for example, if you take a look here, we can see these things. None of this stuff is mine. Basically, it's somebody's ender chest that we have access to. Basically, they didn't diamond lock their stuff. So somebody could take their stuff, but if you diamond lock it, it's going to make it unique just to you. So I'm going to go ahead and diamond lock our other chests here as well. Because I totally didn't think about that earlier. I mean, it's a whitelisted server, so chances are nobody's going to plug into our stuff and be like, haha, we're going to steal everything. But it's always good practice, honestly, to make sure and lock your stuff. And that's plugged up. Right now that doesn't have any hose. It actually ran out of hose earlier, and I'm going to go ahead and remove this because there's really no sense in that chest being there anymore. And so next up what we'll do is we'll go ahead and set up our ender chest right here. And so we'll go ahead and lay this out, of course. And then we'll go ahead and lock it. And then what I want to do is go ahead and tell this to insert. And we'll go ahead and tell this one to extract, always active. And so it's going to start filling up this chest and sending the items elsewhere. So now at least this is getting drained. Now it will possibly, I don't think it'll back up the ender chest because the only things that we haven't got sorted is coal essence and fertilized essence. But we will want to get that sorted fairly quickly because otherwise it is going to back up. But once we get this thing up and running again, we'll have, I think, plenty of obsidian coming in. And I'm going to go ahead and give this farming station an obsidian hoe, just because it really needs to get to harvesting the stuff, especially the obsidian crops. Yeah, it's definitely something that needs to get done. So, but anyways, now we've got that up and running. We've got the essences going, you know, getting pulled out. We will have to keep expanding because I know there's crops that we need to add that we're kind of waiting on adding until we get the storage system sorted out. Of course, storage was really where we were suffering because we didn't really have the infrastructure when we started getting all the materials. So, you know, it definitely put us in a bad spot. So next up, what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to set up some kind of automation for the tool rods. I mean, for the obsidian hose and all that. So what we're going to do is we are going to make ourselves a crafter from RF Tools. And we're going to go ahead and go for the tier 3 because as far as I'm concerned, you may as well. Anytime you go to set up a crafter. So now that we have our crafter tier 3, the next thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and get ourselves a couple more ender chests. And we'll go ahead and grab 3 of them for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to say that it is the brown line. And this is going to be our farming tool line. And then let's go ahead and get ourselves just a exporter from refined storage. Now you could also do this with refined storage if you wanted refined storage to handle all of the auto crafting and all of that. But I tend to like the crafter from RF Tools. That's just my personal preference. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up. We'll put it right here, I think, for right now anyway. And we'll just plug this up. And then what we want to do is let's get ourselves some obsidian, some sticks. Let's go ahead and get some oak wood. That should be everything that we need. Now the RF Tools crafter, if you get the tier 3, it has 8 slots for recipes, which is absolutely wonderful. So what we're going to do is first off, we're going to teach it that if it takes oak wood, it's going to get wood planks. And we're going to go ahead and say that this is going to stay in the input buffer. And we'll go ahead and just apply. And then we're going to say that if you take these oak wood planks, place them just like that, that you're going to get sticks, and that's also going to stay in the input buffer. And so now we have sticks. And then we're going to say if you take sticks just like this, and some obsidian just like this, that you're going to get an obsidian hoe. And then we're also going to tell it that if it takes, and by the way, this obsidian hoe, we're going to leave it as output buffer. You know, that's the first output buffer that we've had. And we're going to go ahead and say that if you take obsidian essence and do just like that, you're going to get obsidian. And we'll go ahead and apply that. And actually, let's change this to input buffer as well. The only external buffer that we have right now is the hoe. Now, later on, if we set up auto like tree farms or something like that for some kind of wood, if you feel the need to, because we do have tree essence, which covers a lot of the main wood types. But we could always automate axes. We could automate, pretty much anything with this, and be able to send it through the same, the same ender chest line. And so then what we're going to do is let's go ahead and say let's go ahead and turn this and say on to activate. And then what we're going to do is let's get ourselves some planks. And so now let's go ahead and configure this so that we don't just have like all of our obsidian essence going in there or something, because I don't want that all just to get chunked into this system, So what we're going to do is we're going to fill up the majority of the slots with cobblestone. And basically the exporter is going to, once we configure the exporter and tell it what to export, this cobblestone here isn't going to get filled. And then I want to go ahead and throw oak wood in one slot. We'll go oak wood planks in another. We'll say sticks in this one. And then we'll do, say, obsidian essence and obsidian. So these are the 5 items that it's using to craft. We're going to allow it to have 1 stack of each within here, and the rest of it we're just going to say cobblestone. Alright, so that's good. And then what I want to do is I want to go ahead and configure the exporter. We're going to say that you can export wood planks, sticks, obsidian essence. We actually don't have to send obsidian. And you know what, actually, I just realized the only thing that we really need to export is wood and obsidian essence. Now you could also make these hoes out of cobblestone, if obsidian's an issue, but this way it has to craft less, honestly, because these things have 8,000 durability compared to, the measly little amount that stone tools have. So now you'll notice that this is getting filled up with stuff. It's going to get a bunch of oak, it's going to craft some things, and all of that. I'm going to go ahead and throw some of this stuff into here. And we're going to go ahead and say, remember the current items in the internal and external buffers. And we're going to go ahead and say that you're ignored. And then we're going to say, remember again. So now, if I was to pull this hoe out, you'll notice that there's still a hoe there listed. Basically, that means that no matter what happens, it will always keep a hoe right there. So if I was to make some other things, they couldn't take that spot. And the same here. Nothing else can ever go here except for obsidian. Nothing can go here except for cobblestone, and so on. So if we want to add things, we'll have to sort it back out, but that's okay. Right now, that's all it can keep on hand. And then what I want to do next is let's go ahead and make ourselves some translocators. And we're going to do item translocators. And these do craft 2 at a time, so you only really need to craft this 1 time. And it's enough to set up for us. And then what we're going to do is we're going to set up our ender chest right here for now. And this is probably going to move once we get everything situated. But I'm fairly happy with it being right there for right now. So we'll go ahead and color this the brown, brown, brown channel. And we're going to go ahead and diamond lock it. And then what I want to do is I want to set up our item translocators. So we're going to put 1 on the crafter tier 3 and 1 on the ender chest. And what these do is they allow transfer of items within a 1 block space. That's as far as it can go. But you can configure these so that it only, it keeps X amount of X item within X inventory and stuff like that. They're really, really handy for that sort of thing. And then what we can do, once we have our translocators on there, is let's get ourselves a diamond nugget. We can just right click it onto here. And you'll notice it changes the look of the translocator. We can just right click on the plate itself, not the button, but the plate. And you'll notice it brings up this little GUI. Now this GUI is going to be here even if you don't put the diamond nugget on there. And what it does is it allows you to filter what items can go into this inventory. But we want to filter it so only a specific number of items can go into this inventory. And basically what this does is this is going to regulate the amount of items that can come into this. So if we were to, let's put this back in the output. Let's go ahead and activate this. And you'll notice that only 1 obsidian hoe comes in. And the rest of these stay in the output buffer. So basically, keep in mind with the translocators, the ones with the buttons out means that they're going to send items to ones with the buttons that are pushed in. And these translocators, like I said, they can only move items one block, so they do need to be in the same block space. But you can put multiple translocators, so I could put another one right here going into an inventory that's right here with totally different filters set up. I could even have another one outputting to this. You know, there's all different kinds of things that you can do with them. But of course, the best thing is you can regulate the number of items that can come in. So for example, if I wanted to say like diamonds, so I could left click and increase the amount of diamonds that I wanted to go into this. So you are able to regulate that a bit. And so what we're going to do now that this ender chest is making sure to always have one obsidian hoe in there, we can go set up our ender chests over here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an ender chest for each of these. Now you could, of course, you could always filter it and have, say, your obsidian hoes also go into the same chest that your input is, if you wanted to. I just like I like making things difficult. So I'm going to have 2 of them set up here. Is this, oh my gosh, this is still draining. Are you serious? So we'll go ahead and let's configure this. We're going to say brown, 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 and diamond lock it. So you'll notice it's the one with the obsidian hoe. And then we're going to go ahead and tell this that can also insert on the brown channel. And we'll go ahead and extract here on the brown channel. And now, whenever this hoe runs out, it will automatically get refilled by this one. So very, very good stuff. And if we come over here to this one, we'll do the exact same thing. Brown, brown, brown. And diamond lock it. It has an obsidian hoe. And we'll go ahead and say that you can insert on the brown channel. You can extract on brown, always active. And there we go. We have a hoe. I don't know why it has an axe. But anyways, you'll notice that it's now ripping this up. And it should be going into here, which it is. And this is so backed up, it's ridiculous. Honestly, I may have to put speed upgrades into this. I don't know that this needs them as much as I'm gonna pull this out for now, and we'll see. It may get backed up, and then Dark will be like, "Why'd you pull my things out?" And I'll be like, "I don't know," or I do know. So we're gonna go ahead and add this to our input chest for this, because these, honestly, we're probably gonna need full speed upgrades in this thing, because this thing will be pulling in a lot of items, absolute ton of items. And we're going to be needing to move a lot of items rather, rather quickly. So this should speed it up a little bit at least. I still don't think it's going to be fast enough to keep up with all of this. And we actually have enough obsidian now to get our last couple quantum chests. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, just so that we can get the coal essence and the fertilized essence, you know, having a place to go, so that, you know, whenever we log off or whatever, it's not going to just get totally backed up with coal essence and fertilized essence. So, because that stuff's going to be coming in fairly quickly now, I think. So we'll go ahead and throw each of these into there, and then just set this up to insert. I don't know, it's extracting other things right now, but eventually it will get to those things. So, and honestly, this should be fine once it gets caught up. It's just, it got so backed up with that storage crate, which it honestly seems like maybe, no, it's still pulling items, but it is faster now. With those speed upgrades, it's faster than the inputs. So, and then of course, all we have to do now is run our external storages over from like this quantum storage unit and stuff. And, you know, I definitely want the obsidian essence. That's another one that I have to have. And then probably the next one, I guess. For now, I don't have, you know, all of these crafted just yet, but I do want to get this stuff plugged up. So for now, what we'll do is we'll just run this over like so, and then we just need to link this stuff up. So for right now, and I know it's going to be ugly, today I'm just making a bunch of eyesores on here and on Qantas, I think. So anyways, this stuff is linked up, and now if we take a look in here, you'll notice that we have 488,000 Inferium Essence in the system. So very, very nice. It will definitely help having that stuff plugged in. Honestly, today in general, is just going to be super helpful because storage and getting all this infrastructure sorted is definitely a major thing for us moving forward, I think. So anyways, with that, I do believe that's going to be it for this episode. We did get our hose auto-crafting and our essences sorted. So I'll continue. I mean, we've got everything sorted now. It's just not all plugged up into the system, but that's fine. I mean, I'm not having to use all that stuff. The main thing is getting that Inferium essence and then Obsidian essence plugged into the system. Those were the two major priorities, and having those hose auto-crafting because now all this stuff is farming because it was so backed up before. And I am still debating how I want to handle the essences. Like originally I was thinking about having it all auto-crafted, but then I was like, well, then again, I don't know. So I'm gonna wait on that and talk to Dark and see what we want to do with that, what we can figure out for it. So that we'll cover that at a later point. I mean, like I said, like right now we don't really have the obsidian to start like auto crafting, mass crafting these essences. So because I want storage units, quantum storage units for all that stuff, but at the same time I want quantum storage for all the essences. So what we're probably going to have to do is filter everything, and so it's going to take actually quite a bit of infrastructure setup in addition to move into that. And I want to make sure that that's what we want to do instead of having maybe like a drawer field. I don't know. We'll see. So I want to talk to him a bit before we, you know, really hone in and decide on a certain thing with that. So, but anyways, these drawers are emptying. It's going to take a while. Unless I put speed upgrades in this, because it's like, you know, nearly 400 stacks of Inferium. So there's definitely a lot being moved here. But anyways, of course, if you guys enjoyed it, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. And once again, next episode we will be killing the Wither, and honestly probably a few times, because what we're going to do is probably set up a cage. And so hopefully next episode, which we're going to record later tonight, we're going to kill the Wither and we're going to get flight in the form of mystical agriculture flight. So basically magical crops. If you've ever had that, you know, in-game armor set, that's what we're going to be aiming for. So really good set of armor and fairly powerful. So definitely looking forward to that, and having flight will allow us to actually, you know, start actually building out the ship as well. Because I like to get like an overhead view of it, of the whatever I'm building, and I can't, you know, currently do that unless I just nerd pole up. So, which that's never any fun, having to do that every time you want to see the build from the sky and everything. So that's what we're you know, what we're aiming for. Plus having flight would allow us to run conduits under the floor, and it would just make life a whole lot easier. So, but anyways, I hope you guys join me for that. And until next time, though, as always, do take care, stay safe, and like I said, you guys are going to get, this episode should come out the day right after the first part of this storage stuff comes out, and then tomorrow the Wither video will come out. So you guys should get 3 episodes in 3 days, just back to back to back. So I hope you guys enjoy it. And anyways, I hope you guys join me for next time. So take care.